Peters alongside Craig Morgan with PHNX Sports.
Wow.
What was that?
That's what we need, a little more PD.
That's
Welcome into the PHNX Sports Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm your host, Makayla Perkins, and joining me today for the first time in a long time, he's back from the dead.
I'm alive. I'm alive.
Derek Montia, Kirsten Susel,
Hello.
and Steve Peters, who also hasn't been here in a while.
I know.
I am all over the place. This morning has been hectic, but how is your guys' Wednesday going?
Better than MLB's.
Yeah,
That's for sure.
That's absolutely for
Yeah.
sure.
I dropped my dog off at daycare for the first time this morning, and it was a very emotional moment. So I'm
Oh,
still
no.
still recovering from that. Yeah.
Is this the first day at school for him?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I know
It
they
really
told
is.
me I wanted to take pictures of him, and they were like, "Oh, we'll take pictures of for you, no worries." Like I was like, "Okay, thank you."
That's the same thing elementary schools
Yeah, I
tell you.
know.
But
so-
the difference is, with your kid, at least you can say, "Hey, I'm going to be here to pick you up again."
Yeah.
The dog's like, "What the hell?
What are you doing?
I will
What are
say,
you doing?
I will say
This
this.
is like, what are
He
you doing?
thought
Way
it
to go,
was.
Mom.
I think he thought it was the vet, and he was really
Oh, yeah.
scared. He was trying to bolt out the door, and I leaned over and I gave him a big smooch. I said, "It's okay, Newman." And as soon as I did that, he turned around and went in,
No.
and I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Wow.
Well, at least you're making it easier for him to go to the vet because he'll be confused by this. If he likes
I
daycare,
know,
then
I
he'll
know.
might be easier at the vet.
Aw, poor Newbie. Well, we love Newbie. Just a quick reminder before we get into our Valley Sports temperature check. If you're watching this on Twitter, head on over to YouTube and join us in our chat. We love it when you guys chime in on the show. We want to include you. We want to see your comments, hear what you have to say. If you're in our YouTube chat right now, drop us a comment, say hello. We love when you guys join in. Like I said before, including you in the show is my favorite part of the show. So let's get right into our. Oh, we can't hear Matt. Can I keep going?
Somebody keep talking.
Hey,
All right, so what Makayla was saying as we're attempting to fix her mic that I think was unplugged is we're going to get into the Valley Sports temperature check.
There we go. Mic is plugged in. Much better. We're back. We're rolling. We're going to get into our Valley Sports temperature check. Thanks for everybody letting me know that my mic wasn't working. All right, here we go. Let's start it off with the Suns. The Suns, they took on the Clippers last night. I was there at the game. It was my first Suns game of the year. Super excited that I got to go and watch it as a fan. The Suns were struggling a little bit in the beginning, but they kind of got it together. They did end up beating the Clippers in a close game. The Suns are now 23-3 in clutch game situations. I mean, talk about an exciting team to watch. What were your guys' thoughts on the game last night?
I saw some people like just disappointed they didn't win by more, and that just goes to show where we're at with the Suns now, right? Like clutch wins, you have bad losses throughout the season or just nights that you're off or whatever.
Mhm.
That, like you said, that seemed to be the start of the game. But to be able to pull it all together and still pull out the victory, there was criticism about their lineup not having, Kawhi Leonard and obviously, PG not in there. But I don't know, man. I think that this is one of those situations where it's nice for the Suns to be this good that they can still pull out wins. And the only thing we're upset about is that, well, this felt like it should have been more.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Suns knocked the Clippers out of the playoffs last year, so I don't care who they were missing. I think anytime they're going to face each other this season, they're going to remember that and play them tough.
Exactly.
For me, you don't want to get to the point where like your opponent stinks and you should be blowing them out, yet you're still within a couple points. Like, you don't want it to be that, but the Clippers are still a very good team. So I think it's encouraging that they were still able to come away with the win, and the fact that they are so good in the fourth quarter, closing out games in clutch situations. It's all positive for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think as the longer the season goes on and you're finding different ways to win, I think that's an important task for a team that's trying to enter the playoffs the right way. Look, when this team gets completely healthy and they're on a roll, they're going to be incredibly difficult to beat. The expectations, however, are extremely high. So then can they continue that pace? Yet to be seen. But this is what we talked about, and this is part of the point of the show. It's when things are going well and you can still find things to bitch about.
Yeah,
And things to complain about. Like,
Right.
what do you think the Coyotes would be doing to get a few wins in a row? Like by 7, by 2 and shoot up? Like, just get a win. Like,
Yeah.
the point is to win.
Don't talk to me and Petey about losses.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
you're
I'm
not
sorry.
gonna-
When this
you're
team
right.
finally gets together, this Suns team is like, if everything clicks, man,
Yep.
I don't want to speak too early, but it's going to be really fun to watch what they can do this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Suns, they're the best team in the NBA. I've said it all along on this podcast. I know the Suns podcast says it every time that they're on too, but they really are the best team in the league. I have some stats for you guys to hopefully blow your mind, because I don't know if you guys know this, but since the bubble, so including the bubble games, the Suns are 120-39 in games. That to me is wild. That winning percentage, I can't do math, but I'm assuming
Good job, Monty Williams.
Well,
is through the roof.
And James Jones for continuing to add to
And the
that
Suns,
success.
they only need to go 16-9 for the rest of the season to set a new franchise record in wins if they do it, which, I mean, I feel like they can. They're on a 6-game win streak right now. Their next 6 opponents are not great. So, I mean, I feel like by the end of the next 2 weeks, they will be out on a 12-game win streak, barring any crazy changes, knock on wood. But, I mean, this team is unstoppable right now.
And I hate to relate this back to the Diamondbacks, but that's 3 games away from a full baseball season, and that's pretty terrifying.
Wow,
to
that was
think
fast
about.
math.
I
what
would
the
have,
Diamondbacks are.
fast math could not have done that on the fly.
Well,
Would have even thought that. So that's why we have you on the show.
Diamondbacks had 110 losses in their season. We're not quite as good as the Suns have been over that same stretch.
Yeah, wild.
For me, there are 3 things that stand out about this team that I feel like are characteristics of championship teams. Like, one is the chemistry, and we've known that all along. And James Jones has done a phenomenal job of bringing guys in that have not disrupted and only made the chemistry stronger. Just closing out games, right? And I think that's something that maybe they've struggled with in the past, like teams that can close out game. That's big. And then depth, right? And now they've just added to that depth. They've got 3 things that are just such big factors in championship teams. Like, this team has every bit of expectations to win it all this year, and they have everything that they need to win it all.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. This is the year for the Suns. Shane in the comments saying the Clippers without Kawhi and PG are sneaky good. I agree. Like, people were trying to discount
That's
that
what I was
last night.
saying.
They were trying to say, like, oh, like, you guys wouldn't, like, it was an easy win. Like, they didn't have their 2 best players. But, like, I still think the Clippers are a really great team, even without those 2 on the court. Charles Woodall Pike saying the Suns being able to crush the last 5 minutes has been so fun to watch. I agree. I love watching this fourth quarter, like, when the Suns are playing, because even if they're a little bit behind or whatever, I still have so much faith that they're going to just win it. Like, I have just complete faith in this team, which I will say is so nice to experience, because as a Valley sports fan, I am scarred and jaded. And so when I can finally just, like, let my trust walls down, because I have so many trust issues, and just, like, enjoy this team for what it is, it's so refreshing, because I genuinely have not been able to do that before.
But do you not have this feeling in the back of your head that they're going to hurt you again? Does that
I
not
don't
still
I don't
sneak in
know.
there,
Like,
or
I just
you're
have like a
confident
feeling.
now?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just have
want
a
her to
feeling.
feel pain, Derek.
That's kind of what I want. I want her to remember the sting of last season. But no, I had that same thing last year. Like, last year, it's like, this feels different. I've never felt this confident about this team.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes it was, even when they were really good with a really good record, you still kind of had like some crossing your fingers type moments, right?
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
no, there's just something about this team. Like, it's even, I mean, obviously it starts with CP3, right? But the biggest thing about him is, even when he had an off night, kind of like he seemed to start having last night, you can just annoy him into being better. Like, it's like he's kind of toying with the other team until he realizes he has to kind of turn it on, and then he does, and he's just incredible. The DraftKings Sportsbook line on his assists last night were 13.5, and I was like, no way. He got 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got 14.
But that's the other thing.
Crazy.
Way to
man.
ruin my bet.
But they've got a confidence right now. And one thing about pro sports, at any level, is winning is contagious.
Yeah,
And
that's it.
they've got an inner belief now that they can come back and win. They can win with a depleted lineup. They have found different ways to win. And most importantly, they can look across the bench and go, okay, it's your turn.
Yeah.
I did it. You do it. And
Yep.
once you get an accountability within the room from the guy sitting next to you,
Yes.
not from the coach, not from the manager or the owner, it's from the guy sitting next to you. Once you have that, man, that's dangerous. And that's what this team looks like they have. It's like, okay, let's go. It's your turn. Let's pick it up.
That's
I
it.
agree 100%.
And the depth too, by the way, is incredible, right? Like, they've traded and made moves now to actually make their depth valuable. And it seems like they don't have guys on the bench as much that, you know, that they might have thrown in just in garbage time. It seems like everybody could be an asset to this team at some point during a playoff run, or at least late in the season when we want to give, you know, some of the guys some rest going into the playoffs.
I think that's where my confidence comes in too, is like Suns teams in the past, like, they seem to just be missing one piece of the puzzle or like 2 pieces of the puzzle. But to me, this Suns team has every piece of the puzzle. They've got everything from, James Jones down working for them. They have the perfect coach. They've got the perfect lineup. They've got the perfect person making roster decisions. I just think that this is it. Like, they just have every single piece of the puzzle, and this is their year to do it. But as Derek mentioned earlier, we also have CP3 on this team, and CP3 is the point god. And obviously, we need a shirt that celebrates his epicness. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is our new shirt that just dropped this week. The point god. Oh my God, this is the favorite shirt we've ever released. I'm obsessed with it.
Praise him.
Praise the point
Praise
god.
him.
Our point
Hallelujah.
god is a mighty.
Yeah, our point god is a mighty point god.
I don't know. It's amazing. I love it. Check out our new shirt. If you go over to the PHNX Locker, that's where it's available. If you sign up to be an annual member at gophnx.com, you get that shirt for free, which I 10 out of 10 recommend doing, because with the free shirt, you also get access to a ton of great stuff on gophnx.com. All right, let's move on to the Coyotes really quick on our temperature check. PD and Craig were out at the new arena. So if you missed it, which I don't know how you could have, but in case you did, the Coyotes will be sharing the arena that ASU hockey / multi-purpose arena are building. You guys were out there. You did a little tour. So here's a video that PD and Craig put together of the new arena.
Steve Peters alongside Craig Morgan with PHNX Sports just got a tour of the new ASU hockey arena. Craig, initial thoughts?
Well, I had the luxury of getting to tour this in August virtually, and now that you see it coming together, you really think, wow, what an unbelievable facility this is going to be, especially for a college team, right? Look, you understand some of the concerns from an NHL standpoint, but for us as media, for fans, it's going to be an unbelievable experience to watch NHL hockey in this arena.
Yeah, you look at it from the college perspective, what they're going to be able to do for recruiting for a college kid coming here. This facility is going to be second to none in the country. For the NHL, sure, there's going to be concerns.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans, though, I tell you, what a fan experience. They're going to be right on top of the players. Do you have any idea of some of the main points of the new building, things we can look forward to seeing from the inside?
Yeah, I know. Well, right now we're still waiting to see what seating capacity will be for an NHL game. It's a little over 5,000. I think it's 5,008 for college games. It's like 6,000 for concerts, things like that. They'll have to add cameras, broadcasters, scouts, all those things. But in terms of the arena itself, there are 20 luxury suites. You saw some of the club areas that are really nice. The party deck for students, which is going to be unreal with a drink rail. There's the community rink on the other end of the arena from where we are right now that will house a lot of the youth programs that used to be over at Oceanside. This is really going to be a hub of hockey right here. And if you extend it out even further, if the Coyotes get their permanent arena built, I think it's 1.5 miles down the road. Imagine Tempe basically is the hub of hockey in Arizona.
Did you get any idea of what the Coyotes Annex would look like and where that's going to be located?
Yeah, it's actually really close to where we're standing right now. I think if people, rather than giving them directions, I think people know where Packard Stadium used to be, the home of Sun Devil baseball. Basically, it's right next to that, right next to the grandstand. So it's off that corner of the building where they'll have all of their team areas at the cost of $20 to $25 million. They will have easy access, the players, to parking right.
So that was the tour of the new arena. PD, I know you were out there and you gave us a great comprehensive breakdown of it in that video, but what were your overall impressions and your honest opinion if you think NHL games are going to be successful in that arena?
First, it's a beautiful facility in an unbelievable location. Like it's right next to the football stadium. You get to see the mountain there. It's gorgeous. It's a great college rink. It's a really good college rink. When you walk in and go, oh shit, this is small. And it's stunningly small. I've talked to a lot of people around the league this week because people called me and said, they're not really doing this. They can't really play there. I heard from coaches, managers, they're not really going to do this. Like, this is an embarrassment to the league. The league can't do this. The players won't let them. But the last thing every one of them said, every one of them, can't wait to watch a game there.
Yeah.
This is going to be an NHL experience that you will not ever see again.
Mm-hmm.
You are so close to this action from anywhere in the building. If you're lucky enough to get in, it's going to be phenomenal. And one of the things I'm concerned about is I read, it's going to be full of drunk ASU students. Like hell it is.
How are they going to get tickets?
How are you going to get into this building?
Right.
This is going to be one of the hardest sports tickets to get for one of the worst teams in sports, which is a dichotomy, but it's true.
It's kind of brilliant from that perspective.
The environment in that building is going to be insane if you can get in. Will it be the same watching a 1-22 team? Maybe not, but you can see Alex Ovechkin, Sidney Crosby. You can almost reach out and touch Connor McDavid. Like, are you kidding me? The experience is going to be phenomenal. So the naysayers are people that, one, have no idea. How does this affect the fan in Canada? What the hell do they care how big the Arizona Coyotes Stadium is?
Well, you know the reason why is because
they think it should be there.
Yeah, they think that it's something that they're just waiting to poach this team for some team in Canada, for some city in Canada. And so that's why they're in all the Coyotes mentions and everything like that. I get it, but maybe look towards expansion or something else. I don't know. The Coyotes, though, do have an issue right now, right? It is become one of those situations where it's kind of, like you said, it's kind of laughed at a bit due to the size of it. And all I could think is how much I want to be in there. Like you said, that's all I think about, right? I mean, I guess it's a weird metaphor because it's not like watching the Beatles, because you can't compare the Coyotes to the Beatles, but in a way, with some of the opposing players or everything combined, it's like getting to see somebody incredible in a very small venue that you would never get, so intimate, like 50 seats in some bar, and some famous band or something got a chance to play there one night, right? Like that's the appeal there. And I like you said, I don't see this stadium being empty, so like that's not a bad thing either, that it's going to be filled with people every game and not have that same capacity issue where half the stadium is empty.
So I was talking to Coyotes former GM Don Maloney on the phone earlier, and he sort of echoed those sentiments and said that, first off, since he has ties to Arizona, he's in Calgary now, but he's like the go-to guy where everyone's coming up to him being like, what the hell's going on in Arizona? So there is a part where people just kind of think it's a bad look for the NHL, and you have your superstars that do have to go in and play in this rinky-dink 5,000, will be less than 5,000 seat arena, and some people just look at it as a joke, and some players don't want to play there or just think it's a bad look for the NHL as a whole. But then you also have, and he echoed the same sentiment, where it's become like it's going to be a hot ticket thing to get into one of those games. But so the conversation here in Arizona, and the conversation around the league might be a little bit different.
Well, we'll get into the conversation later when we talk about the drama surrounding this. But I think my greatest concern is just, I don't think Coyotes fans realize how small it is. And I'm just worried that they're going to be disappointed when they go in there for a game, because I mean, you walk into Gila River Arena and that thing is massive. Like it feels like I am in a professional sports venue, and half of the appeal of going to a game is to get that experience that some people can only afford to go to once every year, and it's they have like the whole thing in this giant arena, this whole experience, and then you're going to go to ASU Arena and it's perfect, like you said, for a college hockey team, especially coming from Oceanside, because Oceanside is a rinky-dinky little community rink. So it's going to be great for ASU hockey, but I'm worried that Coyotes fans are going to be disappointed when they go in there and they see the size of it, how many people are in there, and that's what I'm the most concerned about. I might be wrong.
Once again, you're going from alienating a certain part of your fan base because you're out in Glendale. Now you're moving to Tempe. You're closer, more accessible, but now you're going to alienate a different part of your fan base for the people who can't even get in to see a game.
Yeah.
And let's go a step further. You're alienating that group. Should we talk about the fans getting in? You're not getting in.
Yeah.
This is going to be so hard to get in, for one. And then let's take another step further. Well, I'll just watch them on TV. Good luck. Try getting with Sinclair and getting into a regional sports network without paying. I mean, people are cutting the cord. How do you watch your favorite teams? It's a problem. It's not a problem if you want to go see them in Glendale. You can't see them in Tempe because you won't be able to get a ticket. And you can't watch them on TV unless you have DirecTV or cable. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So how many fans are you going to alienate over the next 3-4 years, that 5 years from now, if you get the new building in Tempe, if you get it, that all of a sudden you go, okay, we're ready to start winning. We're really good now. Here's a building. Come back.
Right.
Well,
I don't know, though, because we have 3 seasons of playing there, right? That's what the deal is for. So after 3 seasons, don't you think to a degree that there's going to be people that have been wanting to watch these games so much that there'll be more people attending games at a bigger venue once that's available?
Let's hope so.
Not if you like straight up can't watch any of them and don't feel invested because you can't watch any of their games. So I doubt like 3 years of being like, yeah, who even plays anymore? Because I haven't even seen them in 3 years. Like, it could go. I see what you're saying, but I feel like the risk of people just not being able to watch is greater than the opposite.
I just compare it to this. Like merchandise companies do these drops now, and it puts you, when you miss drop after drop, whether it's shoes, hats, it doesn't matter what it is, you stop caring even about if you like the thing, and you're so like dead set on getting it. Just like a ticket, you know, that you might not be able to get into, but once you get there, you're so excited that you get to go.
Like Crumble cookies when they release their cookies every week.
Exactly.
I had Crumble cookies for the first time last week. I understand the hype. Those things are amazing.
They were out of banana cream when I went, and I was so angry. And I was like, "What do you mean you're out? Just make more. How is it that hard?"
The Coyotes are Crumble cookies.
Yeah, that's exactly. We'll make them desirable by not having them in stock.
We're going to talk more about this arena stuff in a little bit, but before we get into that, I do want to talk to you guys about DraftKings Sportsbook. Hoops fans, the latest offer from DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NBA, is too good to pass up. I'm talking between the legs, 360 windmill good. New customers, or a Makayla dunk good. He had 2 of them last night back to back. I was like, damn, go on, Makayla. New customers can bet just $1 on any team and get $150 in free bets if they win. It's that simple. DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on the NBA with same game parlays, combine multiple bets for the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. Hopefully you did not have DeAndre Ayton buckets in your parlay last night, because he did not do very well. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. And best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PHNX. Bet just $1 on any NBA team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code PHNX at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and up only, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. All right. I love drama. It's time to talk about some drama, mama. I don't know what is going on, but I swear to God, the Valley Sports are like a reality TV show. The Housewives. I don't even know what's happening. I feel like all the drama in the universe is centered in the Valley right now, and it's all surrounding our sports teams, and there's a lot of it.
Celebrity Big Brother is on right now, so that
I'm watching that show. I haven't watched it recently, but I'm hoping Todrick wins.
Oh, it gets dramatic soon.
Oh no! Oh no!
You got to get caught up.
Well, just like Celebrity,
don't watch any of this crap.
You guys, I am a reality. I am addicted to reality TV. That is like the only thing I watch on television besides sports. It is a problem. I love reality TV, but I do feel like the Valley Sports are starring in one of my favorite reality TV shows right now, because holy cow, what the heck is going on? Obviously, we need to start with the Cardinals, because that has been a ton of talk recently. Kyler Murray obviously has been the center of this. He deleted some pictures off Instagram, which we all know. Our own Johnny Venerable, he posted about this, made an observation, and the story went national. Obviously, you can see there Johnny's tweet and then some reaction on the side. I can't see the saying that was his favorite storyline of Super Bowl, which I agree, because I thought it was drama filled, which I love, like I mentioned before. So obviously you have Kyler deleting pictures off Instagram, and this becomes a national storyline, and people start talking about it. There's like a lot of different things that are coming out of this. Like, is he unhappy? Does he want more money? And we all have kind of chimed in on this, but I mean, Kirsten, you don't really think it has anything to do with anything besides money, right? Like, this is all a ploy to get more money.
No, I have absolutely no idea what his intentions were. The only thing that I feel like is pretty apparent is that he knew that he was making some sort of a statement that wasn't going to go unnoticed by deleting everything out of his profile. I don't care who you are. If you work for ESPN even, and you're like one of my go-to people and all of a sudden I go to your profile, I'm like, oh my God, it doesn't say ESPN anymore and everything's deleted. I don't care who you are. People are going to pick up on that. When you're a quarterback for an NFL franchise, people are going to notice. So I don't know what his intentions exactly were. I mean, you could definitely say, oh, it's probably got to do something with the contract situation. Whatever they were, he did it intentionally. And then I have a hard time talking about this without also talking about the statement that he released, which I'm
Right.
sure that we have.
Yes. So to update everybody on the drama, obviously we all know this happened. There's been some thoughts and comments from a lot of different people saying that this shouldn't have been a story. This is a story, whatever. But Kyler Murray did release a statement yesterday. He posted it on Twitter and it says, "I play this game for the love of it, my teammates, everyone who has helped me get to this position that believed in me to win a championship. All of this nonsense is not what I'm about. Never has been, never will be. Anyone who has stepped between those lines with me knows how hard I go. Love me or hate me, but I'm going to continue to grow and get better." So that was Kyler's statement.
So please tell me why he's not about this nonsense and everything when he is the one that started it. You know what you're doing when you are a celebrity of that caliber, whether you're a pro athlete, whatever, you have celebrity status. When you make a move like that, you know dang well what you're doing. So my whole thing is at least take a little bit of ownership. Like at least say, I understand how that might have been perceived. It was not my intention. But don't now pawn it off on everybody else for like creating drama and, you know, I'm not about any of this. Like at least take a little bit of ownership for that.
What are your thoughts on it, Petey?
Well, this is what's hard for me. Like Kirsten's in, like she gets the Cardinal vibe. I'm a fan. I stand on the periphery and go, okay, to me, what in the hell are you talking about? We talk about a guy that's supposed to be a young leader of his team. That's what a quarterback is. And we compare him to, there are some pretty darn good young quarterbacks in this league right now that are leading this team. This is not a move of a leader to me. This is, hey, if I got a problem with owners, management, money, whatever it is, I'm going to knock on your door and let's talk about it. I'm not going to do this. I don't know how this binds teammates. I don't know how this binds the message of group and togetherness. Whether they are together or not is beyond the pale. Doesn't matter. It's what do we perceive it as. And now the perception is, what the hell are you talking about? You don't like drama. What the hell are you tweeting it for,
right,
you idiot? Like, that's just dumb. Like, so how am I going to buy into him? Now he's got to get behind center next year. I'm going to go, well, you know, the piece that I don't most concerned about is where's the team in this?
Yeah.
Where's the team going, hey, we saw this message yesterday. He's a crybaby and he's a finger pointer. Where's the team going, hey, we're behind Kyler. He's our guy. He's great in the room. He's our leader. Where's that?
Well, the team itself released a little bit of a statement basically saying that, like, he's our guy. We're behind him. And then his teammates have come out and said, yeah, it's okay. That's why we've got a group here. It's not just one person. We bring our minds together. And some of his teammates have come out in response to him. And a lot of fans are saying, like, who the hell cares if he deleted something on his Instagram? He's a good player. It's just like, yeah, I get that. And I'm not saying trade him because he deleted something out of his Instagram. It's just, you already have, and he knows damn well that the conversation surrounding him is like, does he lack leadership qualities? You know that is a thing. Whether you pay attention to everything that's said about you or not, you know that's a thing. Mm-hmm. So when you're making a move like that, be a little more conscious of it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it is a storyline. It's happened to other athletes have done it in other leagues. I mean, Von Miller did it with the Broncos when he was unhappy with the Broncos, and it is a storyline. It is worth talking about, and I do believe there is intentionality behind the actions. Kyler knew what he was doing when he archived those posts. He was intentional with those decisions. And then when he came out with his statement yesterday, I also was a little off put by that because he said he's not about this nonsense. Well, if you're not about the nonsense, don't archive those posts.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't think there's going to be any fallout from those actions when you're a professional athlete on the highest stage in front of thousands and thousands and millions of fans, like, I don't agree with that, because, like, you know, it's the same thing with me. Like, if I'm dating somebody and I all of a sudden just delete all the pictures of me and my boyfriend off Instagram, people are going to be like, oh my God, Makayla broke up with her boyfriend. Yeah. Like, it's the same thing. Like, I just don't think it's fair to, like, be like, and obviously I can't speak for Kyler and I don't know how he feels, but, like, if you don't want to be about this nonsense, don't do stuff like that, because you're going to get some nonsense out of it. Like, we're all going to react to it.
I'll say this just in defense of Kyler.
I also don't have a boyfriend, by the way.
Just putting that out
there. In case anyone was wondering.
She's been single and still is.
Kyler's 24 years old. And I think that's the thing to keep in perspective here. Like, he's not going to always make the most mature decisions at 24. Yeah. I understand. We want everybody to be grown up. And when you're in this position, in this spotlight, you should be mature and you should be able to handle it. And that's part of, you know, the reason why NFL teams analyze these guys when they draft them and put them through 50 interviews to figure out how they are as a person besides just their athletic abilities, right?
Yeah.
I just think that in this case, it was an immature decision. It's not, I don't think anybody can say he didn't do it on purpose with some meaning.
Yeah.
But at the same time too, sometimes when you're 24 years old and you're just angry about something, you just make a dumb decision that you don't really care if it's going to cause drama or not.
Right.
However,
And then
you
take
didn't
ownership
think
of it.
you don't, right? Well, and I mean that's kind of, again, another you're stacking immature moves on top
Right.
of immature moves, right? But you also don't think that you deleting your Instagram stuff or archiving it is going to make it on ESPN, and then it does, right? And so
No, he knows. He knows.
I mean,
he knows.
it's like, I think someone in the chat said he did this a similar move when he was in college at Texas A&M, and to be honest, yeah, I actually saw someone bring that up yesterday, and
when he was transferring.
yeah, it was like part of his.
Oh,
like,
well, no one's gonna say a thing.
Well,
if you
again-
delete. Yeah, oh, it's
again,
not gonna
it's-
be on an ESPN or the NFL Network.
Right.
No,
Well,
I mean,
and again, it might be a well calculated move. It might be beyond him just being immature and doing it. He might have done it with intent and purpose, but it also doesn't. I also don't feel like his age and handling things at this don't play
Right.
a role in
well,
this,
and also
right?
he needs to understand that like he's the quarterback of the team, and the quarterback of the team is usually seen as a leader. And so decisions like this are going to affect everybody in the organization, including his teammates. And obviously, like, you know, his teammates have said very positive things about him. Zach Ertz, JJ Watt. I mean, JJ Watt even came out with a video while this drama was going on. I think we have it. If you want to play the video of JJ Watt's reaction.
I just tried to FaceTime Kyler. He didn't answer. What does it mean? Are we still friends? Does he still follow me on social? Or maybe he's just at dinner.
Obviously, that's a hilarious reaction from JJ Watt.
To be fair, that's my exact reaction when my friends really don't answer the phone when I call them. So I mean,
Somehow I believe
I
that,
kind
sir.
of feel that.
First
way.
of all, what neighborhood does he live in?
I don't know, but it sounds like Leah's
it
with
does.
the street gang outside. The sirens. Are you okay, JJ? But I mean, obviously his actions are going to affect everyone. I love that JJ Watt had fun with it. But I mean, this is now a story that has become major drama. And I feel like the drama is justified because if you are a leader of organization and you do something like that, people are going to react to it. Whether it's a justified reaction or not, I can't tell you, but everyone can react how they want to something like that.
And
This is why people aren't on social media. This is why people delete their accounts.
Which is fine,
You know,
but
he could do something similar, like because he's he plays Call of Duty. So I mean, he could do something similar, like in a Twitch thing that he's on, and then all of a sudden that becomes viral too, right? He says something because he's being honest, like Booker has at times said funny things in there that kind of maybe nothing that makes him look bad, but Devin Booker at times has like videos of him saying funny things when he's playing video games, right? It could be anywhere because sometimes that's where you let down your guard and that's where you do something that you might regret. I've seen the PR guys coach these guys even when they're veterans about what that they should be saying and not saying to the media. So it's not like it's something that the teams try to do something about to not have this kind of reaction.
I also don't feel like there's anything wrong with fans wanting a franchise quarterback to be more supportive of the team he's playing for and the community he's living in. So for everybody who's saying everybody's just on a smear campaign, leave him alone, he's young, he's this and that. If what you want out of your quarterback is a guy like Josh Allen, is a guy like Joe Burrow, where you're getting more of a leader, of a person that's out in the community, or a person that is, I'm all in on this city, there's nothing wrong with a fan wanting that.
Right.
And Kyler, honestly, I don't know that he's ever going to be that.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean that he's not going to be a great player, a great talent, and have success in this league.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be one way or another.
Yeah. PD, I think you're going to.
No, but I just think that that's kind of our right as a sports fan to criticize move like
Yeah.
this. I mean, this is part of, unfortunately, this is part of what sports is. It's not always between the lines. And I know people want to keep it there. And this is, hey, how I play is how I play. Bullshit. Like, we earn the right to criticize move like this. And honestly, that's why the four of us are sitting here right now. And that's why networks like ESPN and watch TNT basketball and TNT hockey, because we can do this.
Yeah.
For me, this is my soap operas. This is the storylines I follow.
Mhm.
And I've earned the right. That's what sports does to people. I've invested my time, my money, and my energy into this team. Yeah, I can complain about it if I want to.
Yeah.
And on this particular thing, he's a guy I want to root for the Cardinals. I want to be, hey, this guy's got it. He's on it under control, and he's going to go win for me. He's going to fight for me. Now you're like, is it more about him or is it the team? Don't give us the opportunity to see that. And to say he didn't see that, come on.
Yeah.
Like my 18-year-old, when my son was 18, he's older than 18 now. When he was 18 in high school and tweeting stuff, you go, hey, everything you tweet there affects things.
Yeah.
Be aware of that.
Yeah.
I taught him that when he was 16.
Yeah.
He knows. Come on.
Well, William Jasper in the comments saying, huge lack of ownership from Kyler. Leadership is lacking from the organization as a whole. Just show up at this level. I mean, that's a great point. I do think there is a lack of ownership on Kyler's behalf, especially with his statement yesterday.
And that's what I wanted to ask Kirsten coming here. Where does any of this lie on or a representation of the coaching staff of Cliff? Should he have come out and said something, or should he have handled the situation? Or I've heard people saying, well, it's a reflection of the coach. Is that fair?
I would say you could make that argument a little bit. I would say that Kyler's been his own person, and he's been that way probably his entire life and career. You could make the argument that Cliff is not the right leader for him and doesn't have the capability of calling him out or putting him in place or making him have a reality check. So in that way, you can certainly, and that's just a conversation. So, I have not heard that directly from the organization, but that's what the conversation is right now. Is Cliff the right coach to be able to give him what he needs to mature into a leader? Yeah. And so, from that standpoint, you could argue both ways. I would also say that this is just kind of who Kyler is, and it is what it is.
Perplexed Damage in the comments saying, he said he was going to have to grow. That will help him be a better QB. I think that was a short joke. If it was, I love it.
100%.
But I wanted to go off of this because Petey brings up a great point in this, maybe being a coaching issue, an organizational issue. NFL AZ Cardinals in the comments asking, do you guys think this drama might steer away free agents from coming here? And I wanted to bring up that question because although it might not necessarily, in my opinion, deter free agents from coming here, it might affect the free agents that are on the roster. So today, this is more drama, you guys. We're just adding to the drama. Taylor Jones tweeted something that was very interesting. He said something I guess was like a subtweet, but I couldn't really tell which NFL team had the #1 pass rush this offseason. I feel like he was alluding to the fact that he contributed to the best pass rush in one of the best pass rushes in the NFL. He is due to be a free agent, and there have been a ton of criticisms about his performance this year, whether he deserves to stay with the Cardinals and get more money, if the Cardinals should let him go because of his performance. And so I feel like now we're adding another layer to our drama cake. And Chandler Jones is starting to hint that maybe and we know that he hasn't been the happiest with the Cardinals. He did request a trade last season. But I think now he's starting to bring up the fact that he feels maybe disrespected and he deserves more money and he should get more money for, the job that he's done throughout his career. What are your thoughts on Chandler Jones maybe subtweeting the league?
I will say this. Chandler Jones knows that whatever he puts on social media is going to be perceived in some way. Okay.
There's no doubt about that.
So, and he uses social media often, and I like it. I think he very much knows what's going to come of it. This is a read between the lines. What is he hinting at? And I think he wanted people to start talking, right? So whether it means like, who had the best? The Cardinals didn't have the best pass rush. So like, they're definitely up within, I think, the top 5. So, and that might not, that's off the top of my head. Don't quote me on that. They had one of the better pass rushes. And so in that regard, maybe he's hinting at that, or maybe he's just saying like, scoping for places. Like, I don't really know what he's saying, but I think it has something to do with the fact that he's going to be a free agent here in a few weeks and is going to have to make a decision. And I don't think the Cardinals are in a place to re-sign him. He got upset because he wanted a long-term big money deal. Cardinals wouldn't give it to him. He requested a trade. They decided the Cardinals wouldn't give him the trade, and he played out this season. And I love the guy. I don't know that he's worth what he wants, but the Cardinals just don't have the money to get into any sort of bidding wars with anyone or anything like that. So if there's another team that's interested in him, and what I've seen kind of floating around is there's a possibility maybe the Patriots would be interested in bringing him back to New England. I think he's going to go wherever he feels wanted and where whoever's going to pay him.
Yeah, I agree. B's in the comments saying the entire situation reminds me of the Office finger gun standoff meme. I totally agree. That's hilarious. A great observation.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Jordan Karchner commenting, how can you discipline someone for immaturity when your GM didn't face a discipline for a DUI? That's also a great point. I mean, is it an organizational issue? Like,
The tea is hot today.
the tea
Jordan.
is hot.
Oh
Thank you,
my
Jordan, for
goodness.
adding to our hot tea over here.
We need to have like a reality TV show name for this podcast
Yes.
today.
Yes, Charles Woodall Pike saying actions have consequences, especially when you're in the public eye like a sports athlete. It's also a great point. But if you want more of an in-depth analysis on the Chandler Jones situation, Johnny Venerable wrote an article that's up on gophnx.com right now. If you want to go check that out, I'd highly recommend it because it kind of does a more in-depth analysis on the entire situation that Chandler Jones is facing as a free agent. I want to play a little bit of a game with you guys as we're going along here talking about this drama. I call it the Mac-O-meter of drama. And we're going to go through and we're going to talk about where we think these stories lie on this beautiful Mac-O-meter of drama. 1, obviously, being this isn't a big deal. 5, being like a middle of the road. And 10, being like, oh my God, this is the most drama I've ever seen in my life. So when you look at the Cardinals situation as a whole, between the Kyler Murray social media thing, possibly you could throw in Chandler Jones in there. What score do you give this on the Mac-O-meter of drama?
I give it an 8. It's a lot of drama
Okay.
and it's a lot of concern, especially considering how good this team was for a period of time last year and how it's kind of all fallen apart since then. And it's not just the performance on the field and injuries, it's also all of this drama. And I mean, they really had something good. Someone brought up about recruiting, and
Yeah.
that's something the Cardinals have been doing well lately. And a lot of that is the players on the team recruiting other guys that they've played with or bringing in guys that they, want to help make this team better. I just don't know if this entire situation is going to help at all with the free agency, the gaps that they're going to have as far as position players go next season with those that are leaving.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get to Cheerston's number, I want to say if you guys are in the comments, which I see a bunch of you now, so thank you for watching, let us know what your score on the Mac-O-meter of drama is when it comes to the Cardinals situation. I want to know how you guys are feeling about it. If you think it's a story, if you don't think it's a story, give us a rating on the Mac-O-meter of drama for this whole situation. Cheerston, where are you at?
I think when the Kyler situation first happened, I would have called it an 8 because not only did you have the fallout from that, but you had the Cardinals chiming in and archiving their post to match up with Kyler's, which furthered the conversation and the question marks is like, oh, well, the team responded are they making light of it to like try and make everything go away or because like if I was Kyler and I did this because I was pissed and all of a sudden I feel like you're mocking me, like the team account is now mocking me for it.
Yeah.
Like would that make things worse? Like who the hell knows? And then Kyler released his statement. Various teammates were like asked about it. They brushed off. So like it was very much a thing. So I would call it like an 8 or a 9 when it first started. I think it's dwindling down a few notches a little bit. So like a 6 or a 7. But this is now going to be something that's not going away. And anytime Kyler does something throughout this offseason, throughout the next season, etc., and he's, wanting this contract extension, it's going to be magnified, in my opinion.
Yeah. Where are you at, PD?
Wait, for me, especially with the NFL, the bar is set pretty damn high.
Yeah.
If you want a 9 or a 10, you need to take your jersey off during a game, throw it in the stands, and walk out on your team. That's a 9 or 10 for me.
Jeez.
Kyler's a 7. It's a
Antonio
big
Brown,
deal
we're looking
because
at
he's
you.
a big player. It's a big deal because he's a big player.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be the guy.
Yeah.
And you saw the playoffs that this team just went through, and a lot of fingers got pointed at Kyler Murray for that performance in the playoffs, whether it's justified or not.
Yeah.
They were. And you look for a quarterback, and Joe Burrow, on the flip side of that coin, leads his team. Maybe shouldn't have been there, but he puts him on his back and carries him. So I think that magnified what the expectations are of Kyler Murray as a leader.
Yeah.
And I think that's what elevated this story to be as big as it was. Hey, if this team is the Coyotes, and no offense to the Coyotes, well, actually, a little offense to the Coyotes, but if this team has 2 wins on the season, people are,
Yeah.
But this team's expectations were so high for this Cardinal team halfway through the year that I think that makes this even a bigger deal
Yeah.
than if they were just a 2 in 14
Yeah.
teams.
Well, and the leadership aspect was already in question, and I mentioned that. It's not like this came out of nowhere and it's like, oh, all of a sudden they're questioning his leadership. It was like, first off, it's been since he came here, and yeah, people weren't really talking about it when they were 7-0 or 10-2 to start the season because it might still be there, but if they're winning, then we're not really going to talk about it. Why would we? And then as soon as they started going on the downhill trend, okay, now we're kind of talking about it. Is this a leadership thing? Is it Cliff? Is it Kyler? But that conversation ramped back up and continued on. And then all of a sudden a move like this, it just solidifies the story.
Well, and I want to quickly move on because we have like 3 other topics to get to, but I want to make sure that we include your guys' comments. Charles Whittle Pike saying he's giving it an 8. Stephen Weiss saying it's a 5. So we're kind of all over the place with the reactions, which is totally fine. Like I said, you guys can react however you want, just like we're going to react however we want when we read into things like this. But I definitely think it's an interesting story. It's made national news for a reason. So lots of drama when it comes to the Cardinals. And I did want to go on really quickly and talk about the Suns because there's not a ton of drama surrounding the Suns right now. However, I do believe there will be some drama when we do get to our free agency period in the offseason because obviously we all know DeAndre Ayton was expecting a rookie max contract extension earlier this year. And when he didn't get it, he was reportedly very unhappy with the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, he felt like he was getting slighted and deserved a rookie contract, or I don't want to speak for him, but I do feel like there was probably some feelings of like maybe he deserved that rookie max contract extension. And when he didn't get it, he probably felt a little bit slighted, which I could say I would probably feel the same way if I was in that position. So this whole time in between him not getting the extension and now, people have been looking at his performance as a reason to either justify him getting more money or him not getting more money, because if he doesn't, he will be a restricted free agent. So the Suns will have a chance to match any offer that comes DeAndre Ayton's way in the offseason. But people have been using this as a time to really look at DeAndre Ayton and figure out if he deserves more money or, if the Suns are going to let him walk. We've had a couple tweets throughout the season, obviously, pointing out DeAndre's performance. We had one from Gerald last night talking about, his percentage of made hook shots this season. Suns Mode Sana saying, pointing out a wide variety of things of why DeAndre Ayton deserves more money. So I guess my question to you all is, do you think that this story is drama? Do you think that he deserves more money? Do you think the Suns should open up their pocketbooks and make sure that he stays a part of this roster? Has his performance garnered that? Or do you think, the Suns might let him walk at the end of the season?
I don't think the Suns are going to let him walk. I think that they should pay him. I think he absolutely deserves it because of his maturity and his growth. Like I don't know. I was commenting last night, but I was just really impressed with his footwork and his hands lately, his ability, his balance. There's just a lot of things there that he looks like he's come so far as far as a player goes. I don't know where to rate the drama because it doesn't really feel like the difference here with the Kyler situation and other stuff is that we have physical evidence of that person being angry. All we have really is people saying that he's upset with the organization or whatever. And I mean, again, that's that person's opinion about the comment he made or whatever. Of course he's upset. He feels like he's done a lot for this team and he expected to get that. And when you don't get that contract extension you were expecting, you're going to be upset. You're not going to be thrilled about it. I think that the Suns might have wanted to see this season if he was capable of still progressing and still getting better and earning this money like he hasn't already earned it, with his past performance. But it's I think a difference of doing it one season versus being able to put it together consistently. Yeah.
Tristan, do you think that DA has earned the bag?
I do. And I also am very impressed. And while we're, getting off the topic of Kyler and, a maturity and a leadership thing.
Well, we're getting back to that. Hold on just a second.
Oh, we are?
Yeah,
okay,
we are.
I was going to loop that in with DeAndre. Am I overstepping
absolutely.
things?
So, no, you're good. We have a tweet from Espo, actually, who pointed that out. The same thing. DeAndre Ayton and Kyler Murray are an interesting case study on how guys in similar situations handle themselves in vastly different ways. This was drama because Espo caught some heat on Twitter for this, which I feel is very undeserved because he does make a good point. And Kirsten, I know you're about to make that point for him.
Yeah, I've been talking about before anything that happened with Kyler this entire season. DeAndre was considered an immature player and again, he's young as well, but one knock on him his entire career has been that he's immature and he needs to grow up. And the way that he's handled not getting the contract he felt like he deserved, and that is a thing. He and his agent were after a 5-year max deal. They were talking about maybe a 3 or 4 year deal for less than he wanted, and he didn't like that. So to see a guy who's had in the past, and trust me, being around that organization and he didn't like the media. I mean, trust me. I mean, they were justified in saying that he had some maturity issues. He had some growing up to do. He's now a dad. He had Chris Paul come into the locker room. He's had Monty Williams as his head coach. He's had people around him that have helped him develop into a mature player and human being. And I give him props for the way that he's handled everything this year. You can definitely be upset with feeling like you're being disrespected in terms of what kind of deal. I mean, that's just a part of sports. But when it comes to wanting to win games and not allowing that to affect the team culture or anything like that because you're after this deal, I think he's done a really good job. He hasn't deleted anything from his social media. He hasn't made a fuss about it. He just went on, put his head down and kept playing the game and said, I'll prove it to you. Hopefully I get an extension and we're all good at the end of the season. But either way, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to give it my all. I think that he's a staple of this team. I think moving forward after, Chris Paul is at the tail end of his career. So in the next couple of years, you're going to have to sort of get into a situation where you're looking at rebuilding. And I think Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton should be your pieces that you're building around. And so I think he definitely deserves it. I believe that he's going to get that deal and that it will not end up being drama at the end of the season. But I do think he's still under a little bit of a test. Yeah. I think if he, one thing with him has been consistency. I think if they get to the playoffs and all of a sudden he's super inconsistent, I don't know, maybe there's some questions there. I mean, this is very much a trial season for him. Yeah. But I think to this point, in my personal opinion, I would say they get the deal done and Ayton is here to stay. Yeah, B's in the comments saying Ayton's approach has been refreshing. He has maintained a professional demeanor, and that is evident in the evolution of his game throughout the year. William Jasper making a good point, saying the difference between those situations are Monty Williams and James Jones and Cliff and Kime.
Exactly it.
PD, what are your thoughts on that?
I completely agree, and that's what we talked about before. It's the organization, it's the coaching staff,
it's the culture,
the leadership group, and the culture. And CP3 brings some of that to the locker room. So there's an expectation. We don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We're not privy to those conversations. Was DA a problem in the room? And CP3 goes, "Hey, here's how it should be. Here's how you handle it." Yeah, but here's the thing too. DA said he doesn't want to disappoint Chris Paul. He doesn't want to disappoint Monty Williams. It's Kyler who he doesn't want to disappoint himself, maybe. But does Kyler want to not disappoint his head coach or DeAndre Hopkins or whatever? I don't think that accountability even exists where I want to be the best leader I can be and the best player I can be for you and for you and for you. And it's going to change who I am as a player, my approach, and help me grow as a human being. And so maybe we just totally uncovered something here.
Well, Chris Paul, like you said, he is willing to discipline him on the court. So I can only imagine, like you said, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors, but if he's so willing to coach him on the court during a game, you can only imagine the advice and the at least
and call him out on
tutelage.
Shit.
And just everything. But the other thing there too, on the flip side, is the support from those guys, right? Chris Paul, Devin Booker, we heard from all these guys that said pay DA, right? So they're behind their guy and they showed him the support, and we didn't get that contract. Those might have been the same guys that picked him up and said, that's fine, we'll get it for you this year. Your performance this year, we'll get you that money. And to have guys around you like that, making you kind of calming you down so that you're not having those moments of, immaturity or just kind of lashing out. Like sometimes you can take stuff for a while, but then you just have those weak moments where you all of a sudden were really angry about it because you thought about it too much or whatever, and it caused you to do something dumb on social media.
I will say I'm really impressed with DeAndre Ayton and the way that he's handled this situation this year. He could have been way worse, and he could have done the typical NBA superstar thing where, look at James Harden. I'm pretty sure James Harden's not hurt, and he just wanted to not play.
With 15 teams.
Yeah, we could have had another mini James Harden on our hands. And DeAndre Ayton, one of the biggest questions surrounding him was his maturity level and his ability to be grown up and make grown up decisions. And I think the way that he's handled this entire, I guess, slight of not getting that rookie max contract extension has been nothing short of mature. And I'm super proud of him for handling it that way. And again, I do think you can accredit a lot of that behavior to the people around him in the locker room, to the leaders that he's been given in his coach and his GM. And I do think the Suns have established, at least from the GM level down, a great organizational culture that, you know, really supports their players, and accountability is their main focus at the end of the day, which I really appreciate. So I am proud of DA for the way that he's handled not getting that rookie max contract extension, and he does deserve that bag. So I really hope the Suns open up that wallet because he freaking deserves it. Really quickly on the Mako meter of drama, let's bring back the meter. Where do you guys think this falls on the meter of drama? I don't think it's that high, but I'm interested to see.
No, it's nothing right now. I mean, it could be like, let's revisit at the end of the season, but I don't think it's drama now. I don't think it's going to be drama.
Yeah, it's because the way he handled it, though.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, it could have been drama. Like I said, he could have been James Harden 2.0.
Big deal.
Yeah.
Instead, he publicly, we don't hear about it. He just goes out and plays.
Yeah.
And you want to get paid? Do two things: put up really good numbers and win.
Yeah.
If this team wins, can you imagine the pressure on this group to pay DA if they win?
Oh my God.
But going back to Kirsten's comment about rebuilding, you don't need to rebuild with how young this team is, right? Like, yeah, Chris, you might lose Chris Paul, right? But the window's open to bring in somebody else to replace him. That I'm not going to say there's ever going to be a Chris Paul, but by that time, these guys might be.
Bridges, Cam Johnson, guys that are still on rookie contracts, you're going to have to, I mean, you will in the next few years.
Sure, you're going to lose some guys.
You're going to have to maneuver a lot, and I still think your two anchors for sure, whether you are able to keep both or two, like the team's going to change inevitably, and I think those are your two anchors.
Yeah, I agree.
Mikal Bridges needs to stay too because that
oh my God, I love Mikal. He is a meme, a walking meme. I swear to God, his face is iconic. Please, please let Mikal stay because I love that guy. Before we move on to the Coyotes, and we do have some baseball stuff to talk about. Sorry, guys, we have a lot to talk about today.
Mikayla didn't realize that she has the 3 most long-winded
I know, I'm sorry, you guys. Hopefully you all watching don't mind. Hopefully you all watching don't mind. We might go a little bit over today. Sorry, you guys. Before we go on to the Coyotes of the baseball, I do have to tell you about our newest partner because I love them so freaking much, you guys. I'm so happy we're partnering with this company because they have a product that I use literally every day. I started taking Athletic Greens because I am tired 25/8. I swear to God, there's not enough sleep in the world that I could get to where I wake up feeling energized. I have some issues where I just want to sleep all day. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get better at it. But the good news is Athletic Greens has helped me get more energy. With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. It's the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. I literally roll out of bed because I don't have enough energy to walk to the kitchen, and I get there.
Rolls the whole way to
you
the
guys,
kitchen.
if I have to be up before 10 a.m., I am a monster. But thankfully, Athletic Greens is super easy. I just grab it out of my fridge. I take one scoop in my water bottle. I give that thing a shake, and I chug it. And I swear to you guys, I've already seen a huge improvement in my energy levels. I feel like I finally have enough energy to get through the day without needing to also chug a coffee, and I can just drink my coffee and enjoy it instead.
Thank God.
I know, because I have given Starbucks my entire life savings at this point. But anyways, Athletic Greens is awesome, but there's a ton of other benefits that you get from it as well. It supports better sleep quality and recovery. Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews, and it costs you less than $3 a day, plus you're investing in your health. It's also great for your gut health. I've heard people have seen their skin improve from all the minerals that are in there. So make sure you go check out Athletic Greens. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to go to athleticgreens.com/TPSP. That stands for the Phoenix Sports Podcast. Again, that's athleticgreens.com/TPSP to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. I promise you guys, I love that thing so much. It is making such a difference in my life.
I take pre-workout supplement, and it has such a short shelf life of giving you energy because that's what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But since I've been taking Athletic Greens, it's like it's just extended, and it allows me to actually not have to take an afternoon nap after I'm done working out. And the
We love it.
pre-workout
We love it. Jordan's saying Mac needs an IV filled with coffee. I would be so down with that. I could just like bring that thing with me everywhere and just inject caffeine into my veins. B saying, I love this. Please go overtime. All right, it's official. B said it. We're going overtime. Jacob, our producer, is very
Jacob's
unhappy
hungry.
because he's hungry, but that's okay. He'll suffer through for us. I think this is great content, so we'll just keep going. All right, when the Arizona Coyotes, an NHL team, announced that they were going to be sharing an arena with a collegiate hockey team, the internet was on fire.
the jokes.
There were so many memes, GIFs, like comments from everybody from Joe Schmo down the street to national media members who were roasting the Arizona Coyotes for sharing an arena with the ASU Sun Devils. This was probably some of my favorite ones. At 13Pav on Twitter saying they will have a nice practice facility, obviously with their bubble hockey game. Oreo Speedwagon saying Clayton Keller coming down the middle. Obviously they're playing knee ball hockey.
I didn't see those.
They're so good. The drama was at an absolute all-time high because for whatever reason, just kidding, not for whatever reason, people were really like making fun of the Coyotes.
Wait, what's that? What's the game where you what's the name of that?
That's
Table
bubble
hockey.
hockey. Yeah.
Bubble.
Yeah, bubble
okay,
hockey.
okay.
Yeah, that's the Coyotes' new practice
But
facility.
is it drama here though? Like Kyler blew up in Arizona. Is this a big deal here?
Well, I think
it
generally
was.
Coyotes fans are happy about it, but they were also super pissed about the national reaction. Like they were all over Twitter defending the organization, defending the team's decision to move. Like they, and you know, along with, you know, the bubble hockey comments, there were also, well, we have a perfect stadium here in Quebec for them, or they could share the arena with the Rockets.
That's really
and
what it
that
comes
is the
down to.
easiest way to piss Coyotes fans off, is to talk about relocation. So, you know, Coyotes fans were upset. They were saying this is great for us. People were saying this isn't great. So there was a lot of debate going on if this was a good move or not.
It's absurd. It's a great move. I don't understand how. I mean, I get it. But Glendale's miserable. People don't like going out to Glendale. That's the fact of the matter. Your season ticket holders are located in the East Valley. You're making them happy. You're giving them an opportunity not only to be season ticket holders, but to have a completely unique experience that all of these same people who are getting their jokes in are going to be, just like Petey said, they're going to be the people that are going to be like, hey, Petey, can you get me tickets? They're going to be the same people, right? Because that's what it's going to come down to. You're going to see it and you're going to want to be there. It kind of reminds me sometimes of making fun of the Winter Classic. And then no matter what, no matter the conditions, no matter how weird it gets, you're still like, this is pretty freaking cool. That's the way that this came together. Outdoor hockey is cool and it's always great to see it. It's not feasible to do it for all games, but man, we kind of wish they did, right? Like the Field of Dreams game in MLB was the same way, right? It was a very small, like they could have sold 150,000 seats if they could have put it on that field for people to come to, because everybody wanted to go to that.
Yeah.
But part of that was the exclusivity and not being able to attend it.
Petey, do you think
I'm
the
not
negative?
as warm and fuzzy as Derek is on this, that this is great. I don't think it's great. I think this is, for the future of this organization in this city, it's great because it keeps them here.
Yeah.
Do I think that this was a business error years in the making?
Yep.
Abso-friggin-lutely. This started when Steve Ellman moved the team to Glendale. That's where it started.
Yeah.
That was a mistake. Huge mistake. But ownership group after ownership group after ownership group said we can't play here. We can't generate enough revenue to play here. Well, where's the building? Where is it? We've talked about it for almost 20 years. Where is the building?
Yeah.
We've talked about, it's going to be in Salt River. For sure it's going to be. It's going to be in Mesa. Well, it might be in Tempe. I think it's going to be downtown. Build the damn thing.
Yeah.
So this thing we should be in the ground. We should see framework, and they go, okay, we got to play at ASU for a year. I'm sorry. The beautiful building in Tempe is not built yet, but we're almost there. For it to get to this point is a big, big business error, because I think there were some egos involved. I think there were people that really thought the deal between Glendale and the Coyotes was going to happen again. Whether it's right or wrong, they thought they'd be in that facility for a few more years until they bridged the gap to a big facility. Unfortunately, by the time the Arizona Coyote management finally realized, oh shit, they're serious, we're really not going to play here, they shut the door on some more feasible facilities, including the Madhouse on McDowell, which is going to seat 13,000, needs a lot of money. But if you play there, you go, okay, it's not that much different than Long Island Coliseum.
Could have been good.
It's not different than where the Detroit was playing and Joe Louis. It's not that much different. So we could do that.
But then you understand the negativity that's surrounding this move, right?
Well, don't forget, they also got kicked out, and that's the reason why all of this is happening.
And like you said, the Glendale was petty. Glendale,
100% agree.
they were petty from day one. The minute that this entire process started to go south, they had no problem saying in their like city council meetings and stuff how they didn't want the Coyotes here.
But they
anymore
deserve to be
and all
petty.
this.
The Coyotes were paying them
But-
any
but I
money.
think-
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they
here's the
did
thing,
that, the
though.
taxes thing.
It all started when the city of Glendale basically sued the Coyotes and to get out of this
The
long-term
lease
deal. And after that, they went year to year, and that happened like 6 years ago?
At least.
Okay, so then what are you doing the last 6 years? Obviously, if they sued your butt to get out of a 15-year deal that they just signed, it's not a long-term feasible thing to work out
Right.
with the city of Glendale. So what have you been doing for the last 6 years? And
Yeah.
why did you get to the point where things got so bad that they've now kicked you out and you literally did not have a place to go? And thank God ASU just so happened to be building this complex, or else then what would have happened?
They
So-
would have been shit out of luck.
so yeah, so people I think are trying to look at the bright side of things, right? And
Yeah.
just it is what it is,
That's what
and
I
so
do.
we'll make the
You
most
do.
out of
That's
it.
what I do.
But anyone who has any ill things to say about what's going on right now is also justified.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of ill things to say, I do have a couple more tweets for you guys that I
And don't
absolutely
hold Glendale
love.
harmless here. Like Glendale's at fault too.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I brought in the
Yes.
lawsuit
Okay, I wanted
and
to make sure
everything. Yeah,
I'm not painting the Coyotes organization as the bad guys. I'm not doing that. They should have fixed this a long time ago.
But
Yeah.
do you think in a way this was posturing and everything that they were doing was just
Absolutely.
trying to make it so that maybe they could get this deal with Glendale done?
100% agree.
Yeah.
I think they believed that this was BS and they were going to play in Glendale. And I believe that was during this hockey season.
I agree. Here are a couple more of my favorite tweets from people reacting to this. What do you guys think of the Arizona Coyotes' new barn? It's a mall skating rink at Christmas.
Aw.
And then someone tweeting Arizona's next arena deal in 2024, 2025, and it's a basement hockey rink. And Paul Bissonnette was so kind to quote tweet it and say, delete this.
That
let's
makes me
hope-
miss Metro Center. Metro Center used to have an ice skating
Let's hope
rink
5
in it.
years from now, this team has big draft picks. They've surrounded them with a great surrounding cast. And the building that they have proposed in Tempe is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's
The
in a great
area is
location.
amazing.
The location that they
Like,
want to put it at is perfect.
If that happens and this is the bridge deal that gets them there, they're going to play in brand new facilities at ASU. They've got brand new locker rooms that they're building themselves on their own dime that they have to pay for in advance. They're going to be an unbelievable atmosphere. All of those things are true, and they will be here long term if they get the deal in Tempe. Because if they don't, they will not be.
They won't be
they will not finish that 3-year deal at ASU.
I'm going to say this, just again, going back to the ticket thing or the size of the venue. I have never once walked into a venue and been disappointed by how small it is. Not once. I've never been, because, I mean, I don't know.
Derek
Let's
is
see
not
it there,
disappointed by the size of things.
Yeah,
you heard
right.
it here
Size.
first.
First
Not
time
the size of the matters.
First time
okay?
Derek heard that today.
Right.
Sorry, is that it?
But,
I
but
saw
you're
my
right.
shot.
Like,
I
and
took
you're
it.
talking, liken it to a concert. If
Yeah.
the better concerts are the smaller venues for your
Right.
your favorite artist.
Right.
That's fantastic.
So I just feel like to a certain degree, that's kind of the experience they're trying to maybe that's their thought process here, is that they can sell this out
Yep.
constantly. And then that makes it look like, hey, look it, we've had 3 solid seasons of sellouts, and like that makes
Generate the
moving to
buzz.
that new venue, better, right?
On the Macometer of drama, what score do you give this? And I think we should include the entire thing though. So from like them not
Oh,
paying
it's so
taxes to
much
Glendale to like all the way up to this point, and then Glendale exposing them for not paying their money, giving them their money. I think it's pretty high. I would probably give this like maybe like a 7 or an 8.
if it were football or basketball we were talking about in this town
be a
doing
10.
this, it'd be a 10.
Yeah.
You're 10,
But it's
Yeah.
not.
an 11,
So it's
even.
not.
Yeah.
So what's your scores?
I mean, I still think it's pretty dang high for any sport to have this happening to them. So I'm going to go ahead and say like a 9.
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, I think it's pretty high because the thing is we're still in the thick, and we just all talked about it. We're still in the thick of like, is it going to work or is it not going to work? And we're seeing like a situation that's happened that's happening that's never happened before. So I'm going to say it's at an all-time high. I'm just going to give it a 9.
Yeah.
The embarrassment and cringe level is at a 10.
Oh,
but
yes.
it's definitely
Absolute
at a
10 on the
9,
embarrassment
on
level.
drama.
PD, what are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, I'm impressed that everybody knew this much about the hockey team in the arena. So that makes me feel good for what the hell I do, because we're kind of like the stepchildren here. We get it. Like, we're the few, the proud, we're the hockey fans. So that's really cool. The
Do you know
drama
that
around
Is
this
your
team,
season happening right now? Excuse
Still.
me.
Of course we're gonna
Do
pay
you know
attention.
barely, but the drama is very
Yeah.
high around this franchise for an incredibly long time.
Yeah.
And I, as a person that's been around it for a long time, I hope that at some point the drama fades away.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's been nonstop drama for 20
Yeah.
years.
Coyotes
it's not
fans
drama
only know
in a good
drama.
way.
Stop.
And it shouldn't. It's too bad.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good people that work there. There's a lot of great players that have played there. And there's a lot of great fans that support this team. And I hope at the end of the tunnel that they don't have to, it shouldn't be drama anymore.
Yeah.
It's sports. Let's have fun.
The Suns are our model in a way, even
Exactly.
though they can't get away from the drama with Sarver and everything else that's happened as of late, right? But
But
still,
you love what they're
But
doing.
we're not
It's like-
hearing about it right now.
right? It's like 10 years.
They did get away with it,
10
kind
years
of away
and
from it, kind of.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, you got to say like that. The DA News and that they handled it in a way that made it go away. No matter how they handled it, they definitely handled it in a way that made it that kind of just disappear.
I feel bad for Coyotes fans. Your existence is drama, but hopefully we're on the lower side of this and we
Existence
can
is
move
pain,
forward in a positive
Jerry.
way. All right. I know we're getting a little long here, but I do want to talk about this one thing because it does affect a lot of people here in the Valley. And that is the fact that you can go ahead and put up the tweet for this. Today was supposed to be the official first day of spring training for all 30 teams. Instead, we are heading into the 77th day of the MLB lockout. Spring training is officially delayed. My heart is in pieces on the floor because 15 of those 30 teams are here in the Valley and we're supposed to start spring training today. And obviously that is not happening because we have the dumbest and the worst commissioner in the history of sports all time in charge of this league right now. And we are without spring training, which affects a lot of people, a lot of businesses in the Valley. And I'm upset about it. And I feel like I'm justified in being upset about it because what the actual F is going on?
You're not stoked about minor league minicamp?
No, I am not stoked about minor league
I
minicamp.
am.
I'm
I
so
already go
sorry
see
to the
people
amazing minor league
throw the
baseball
ball
players
around.
out there.
Oh.
I love you, but no. I'm very salty that I will not get to sit outside in the warmth with a beer and watch Major League Baseball players play spring training
They're
games.
not allowed to call it spring training. So
No.
minor league minicamp it is.
Well, for
Minor league
now, it
minicamp.
actually is minor league minicamp because they're not playing any games, and they might not play any games should it stay minor league minicamp. I've been had a chance to be angry about this for 77 days now, so I'm a little calm about it. But what I will say is MLB, Major League Baseball, has absolutely taken the villain role in this entire situation.
Yep.
They seem to not care at all that they were the ones that initiated the lockout and that are holding the season hostage. They also don't care about their public image right now, so much so that they're letting it be known that they don't want to pay minor league players for
Yep.
participating in spring training or for participating in postseason.
They literally said that it is to the players' benefit
It's-
to not get paid.
yeah,
Minor
You're-
league baseball players to not get paid
you're here
because
getting
they
training
benefit.
from us.
They benefit from the training
Yeah,
that
you
they
benefit-
receive.
You benefit from being here playing games for
Are
us.
they in that big of a financial situation
No.
where they're
Mm.
this is the reason they're doing this?
Here's the thing. The one thing that that was before all of this was the decision to start paying minor league players housing. So they are now paying minor league housing, but now is like the other side of it, like the pendulum swinging in the other way. Well, there has to be cutbacks if
It's
we're
like
going to
basic
pay.
economics.
Right.
People want more minimum wages, then people got to slap. I mean, listen, I get it, and
Right.
I don't mean to get political, but that's just kind of how it works. You want more, we want housing, we want this, and they're like, okay, well, now we got to take something from somewhere else.
Correct. But there's also just this general idea that they don't need to do that because it doesn't really cost that much to run all 4 or 5 of your minor league teams in your organization.
Yeah.
We're talking about $2.5 to $3 million, what you would pay a pretty decent player, but not even like an all-star on your team. So it doesn't seem like it costs that much. Now, they also want to reduce the number of minor league players,
They said they want to cut jobs out of the minor leagues
basically back to 150.
from 180.
Yeah. And not every team has that. 2 teams have less than 150 players in their minor league organization. 5 have over 180. So those 5 would be parting way with 30 plus minor leaguers in their system. And then across the board, across 30 teams, it's a couple of hundred probably that they're cutting, which, like you said, right there is the cost. Paying those players is
This
the
all
cost that
just
they're going to turn around.
screams like we are foreseeing like a major like impact in terms of the money and revenue that we're bringing in, and we need to jump ahead of it. Otherwise, why would they continue
They're just
to be
greedy.
slashing
I honestly
things?
think
don't
it's
know.
greed.
It's the way minor league pay is structured is absolutely absurd. These guys, even at AAA level, don't make more than like $15,000
they don't make it
a year.
right, exactly.
Right. So then
yeah.
we've talked about recruiting and how like things you do affect your recruiting. Well, Kyler Murray's not going to play baseball when in this here he is going through the drama of being the starting quarterback for the Cardinals and leading them part way through an undefeated season, whereas he would probably be toiling away in a double-A team. He'd probably be in Amarillo or the equivalent for the Oakland A's organization, just learning how to be a baseball player. The way that they treat young players and such in baseball is ridiculous. And
Well,
absurd.
to me, it's like if you want a good product, invest in your product. Like these minor league players are out here starving, like sleeping on floors of hotel
Literally.
ballrooms.
It's not a
during
joke.
their season.
Right.
Like, how are you expecting them to be mentally in the right place to compete, physically in the right place to compete when they're starving themselves because they're not fed, when they're sleeping on the floors of ballrooms because their housing wasn't provided last season? It is now, thank God. But like, I just don't understand the logic. Like, and you expect these players to be competing at the highest level that they can at whatever AA they're assigned, but then you're not going to support them or invest in them in the literally human basic way to feed them and house them. That blows my mind.
Most minor leaguers have to have a second job.
Yeah,
And
like
that's-
they're playing baseball, and then
that's
after
like
they're
the
done playing
standard, right.
baseball, they go drive for Uber Eats.
Yeah, you have Fernando Tatis Jr., who actually took out a loan guaranteeing an investment firm future percentage of his earnings for him to be given this loan that would allow him to have proper housing. He was able to get a personal trainer. He was able to eat well, and that was one of the biggest things, was he said a lot of his teammates were, you're eating Jack in the Box and McDonald's and fast food and things like that. And it's just not the life that a young
I'm
athlete...
also going to go ahead and say that as a journalist trying to make my way, also had to have second jobs and not paying
Well,
paid
I mean, you
a lot
see
of
it
money.
everywhere
It
in
happens-
life.
It's not the only. Okay, having a second job
Can
is
you
like.
hit a 98 mile per hour fastball?
No. What I'm
I'm just
saying is
asking.
it's not like inhumane conditions to like, somebody's got a second job. Do you want it or do you not want it? And the ceiling for journalism, I will make this comparison. If you make it to the highest of heights, and maybe I am super talented, maybe you just don't know that,
Maybe
okay?
you do hit a
Maybe you just
98
don't know
mile
how
per hour.
talented I am, okay? I will say that like young journalists, they're trying to make it, etc. I'm not like comparing the two like necessarily, but that's not the only career.
But it also
where you're
doesn't
trying
excuse it.
to-
Young journalists should
It's
be paid more.
life,
I get
though.
what
It's
you're
life.
saying.
It's not the only career path where you're saying I'm going all in on this and I've got to work a second job because this is my dream. It's by like not even by a long shot is that the only industry that applies to.
I had
Pete,
to
where are
work-
you at
I had to
this?
work 5 jobs, by the way, all at
There
once.
you
I'm
go.
just
So did
saying.
I.
So
but
there
I'm
you
not-
go.
But here's what I'm saying is the problem at its core is, how is that making a young athlete, some kid that's awesome at everything he does, pick baseball over football or basketball
No,
when
that
your
you
path,
have a great point for that.
when your path
Great
there is
point.
so much better? It looks
It's
so
damaging
much,
for the sport overall in
Right, I
every
would
single
never
way.
And if
choose
you're pulling
baseball.
out of smaller cities that don't have other teams, that maybe you're going to your single A, double A, whatever affiliate in another city, and now you're bringing fans in that way because they've got a minor league team that you're
Right.
maybe not in a big city
Right.
where there's an MLB team. But if you're deciding that you want to diminish the amount of teams that you have and pull out, I think that they're trying to. This is my personal opinion. I think they foresee economic impacts. We're not doing well. Our sport continues to trend in the wrong direction. So we're going to get ahead of it by slashing costs. And I think it will. Like I'm saying, I get some of the moves that they're trying to make with leaving my emotions out of it. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong from a business standpoint. I get it. But I do think that it will end up backfiring on them in the future.
Well, okay, hold on. I want Petey to get a word in edgewise because
No,
Petey
no.
is a
Watching.
baseball fan.
Well, it's great content. But, okay.
but I'm about to shut you guys all
No,
down.
there's a lot of
Petey is a covert baseball fan.
There's a
for anyone
lot
that
of
doesn't
stuff
know.
to digest here. And one of the things Cheerson said is important to take in, that yes, you have to earn your way, and if that's what you want to do, that's the way to do it. The difference I see in that is that the money is at the top of these organizations. It's if you want to be a journalist, there's people in here that are working for free or working really hard to try to make their way that I work with every day. But the people that are making it are ABC, ESPN, TNT.
Right,
And they're not-
100%. The ceiling's very high, yeah.
Agreed. But it's not that the people down the hall from here are making $2 million and I'm trying to get to their level and they're paying me $5 an hour.
Yeah.
The difference here is at this level of your franchise, you are paying people an exorbitant amount of money, exorbitant. And in the same franchise, in the same job, that you want these players to become these guys. You want these guys to be the lifeblood. You want these guys to be the guys that are earning you money, but we're not going to treat you
fairly is a concern to me. And I'll go to a sport that I know better is hockey. The Tucson Roadrunners are the Coyotes minor league team. Do they get paid as much? Absolutely not. Livable wage? Sure. Do some of the guys live together, 5 guys in a house? Yes,
Sure.
they do.
Sure.
But the one thing that this team at the American Hockey League level to compete, they do provide food. Their meals are good down there because they want them to be healthy and strong and be able to work out, because they know that player is an asset that's going to help the big club
Invest
potentially down the
in
road.
your
That's the part that I
assets.
think is the disconnect
Yeah.
for me with the minor league players, is that's their asset to build them in the future. So what I'd like to see, which you won't see, is where's the give and take from the player that's been there, gone through all that, and now I'm 26, 27. I'm making my $14 million. No, you can't make $14 million. You're going to have to make 13.5, and some of that has to go back into no. Well, you don't take it from me.
Yeah.
I made it now, so
Yeah,
hell
yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
That's where I'd like to see a little bit more of the give and take from where are the players stand, and I don't know, and I'm not
That's
a
what
baseball
created
guy.
this. No, wasn't it the players' union were the ones that were saying that like we need to? Am I totally off?
No,
base on
no.
that?
What do you? What? No. What do
I'd
you
like to
mean?
see the
Weren't they
players get
fighting-
back too.
Weren't they fighting for?
Well, the players are fighting
the-
for like the younger guys that don't necessarily make
like
money
arbitration
yet.
years.
Pre-arbitration years, right? So they are not eligible. So they're still in their rookie contract, and all they want is if they become one of the top performers in the league, that they should receive a bonus. They want a bonus pool to pay out to some of these.
And they
younger
also
guys.
don't want what happened to Chris Bryant to happen to other people.
Right.
So it
really,
doesn't
too.
extend into like food and living wage, things like that necessarily.
Not right now. Not for
Okay.
major league players, but for minor
But
league
at
players.
least they've got the players that are ahead of this are. It's not benefiting them.
Well, the
It's
play, yeah,
benefiting
especially
others.
like the players that are arguing on their behalf are like the highest paid players in
Right,
the league, like
right.
Max Scherzer.
That's
and
the other
Garrett
thing
Cole
that
and
makes me
stuff.
so mad about this entire situation is like minor league baseball doesn't have a seat at the table. Nobody is there advocating for them,
Right.
and it
Well,
it affects them so much.
The PA,
And nobody there can. And I know the PA
the
represents.
PA is technically
Right.
advocating on
But
their
the
behalf.
PA only
right?
cares about the Major League Baseball players that are there talking on the behalf of the PA. Like
Well, they're
minor
trying-
league baseball doesn't have a seat at the table, and
They're-
nobody is there sticking up for those kids.
They're trying. That's what they're trying to do, and that's the thing is like the owners don't even want to acknowledge a lot of the things they want to do because they're they're not countering back. We're not hearing them meet halfway in the middle. They basically want the players want 100+ million, and the owners are like, how about 10?
Yeah.
It's like literally the Jack Donaghy from 30 Rock thing of starting negotiations with $1 on the table before you go. But right now, like what Petey said, the lifeblood of small market teams are those young players, right? They're not like teams like the Diamondbacks. They're not spending the money on the big free agents that are over 30 years old. They're going to make
Yeah.
up their team like a lot of teams are based on the Astros
Moneyball.
kind of blueprint and other things
Mhm.
of holding, the minor league players back until they're ready so that their time doesn't start on their contract and doing all these things to manipulate their careers. So essentially they don't have to pay them as much over the course of their career, right? But you have things like the competitive balance tax, which is one of the biggest things that they're arguing over. There's no cap, right? You just have this amount set, and if you go over it, you have to pay this percentage of what you went over, right? Well, I don't know. Maybe maybe a way to come in the middle is maybe still have the competitive balance tax, but have that money go to something other than the other teams that aren't spending as much. Because again, that competitive balance tax
That's
is
like
the
the
money.
worst part about baseball, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Right. Well, 'cause
Yeah.
That's what
Their
creates.
financial model is for a sport that's deteriorating in fans and viewership
Yeah.
and where they're going. Their financial model doesn't work, but the only ones that can fix it are guys are, hey, I don't want to spend any more money, but here's $200 million. What?
Right.
Well, don't stop paying them that then.
Well, and again,
Fix it
like
yourself.
teams like the D-backs can stay in the black as far as financially because
Yep.
they're getting revenue sharing. They're not spending a lot on the players. And, honestly, they're also getting players from the draft, and they have this great class of prospects that are going to be coming up soon. But for now, they can just kind of roll along, lose 100 games in a season and still be making money on the financial
And
side.
that's the
And we don't
problem
even
with
know
baseball. The model for me for baseball, different than hockey tanking. Baseball tanking, your team's out of it by April.
Yeah.
And it's not one or two teams. It's half of the league is
Yep.
done by April. And,
Correct.
well, that's a problem. If you got
It's
that
a
many teams
huge
losing 100 games
problem.
and you're okay, and you know what? We're selling it to your fans. We're losing.
They
We're
were out
losing
of it
100.
even before April, just like the Coyotes were on this season.
But
They
you're
just
right.
don't say it publicly,
And that
right?
to me, it's when you have over half of the league is out of the playoffs
And the
before
leagues
the
go down on
All-Star
comments.
break, that's a problem.
My
Is that a
thing
question?
with all of this, I'm just
But I want 'em
trying.
to play.
I'm just trying to recognize that there are financial issues with the sport itself and with it the way that it's constructed.
Sure.
And I'm not saying they're going about like figuring certain things out in the right way, but they're in a spot right now where they've got to make changes one way or another.
Yeah,
Look
I
at that-
agree.
Look
Well,
at that airport hangar that they can't fill up, right? Like most nights I was
Airport
there,
hangar.
there was like 6,000 people there most nights. Like you
Yeah.
talk about the issue with the venue. I mean, that venue that the Coyotes are playing at, the D-backs couldn't even fill up a lot of nights because they don't have more than 5,000, 6,000 people show up.
baseball is making me very sad, and I'm very upset about it. I have a reaction from a couple people. I think it's the fourth one, Emma. People reacting on Twitter to spring training not starting on time, which I agree is very sad. I don't know if we have it.
Mac, I'm with you, and I don't want this to be harsh. I love baseball. I'm a bigger baseball fan than I'm a hockey fan. Sincerely,
yes,
I would rather be at spring training. Right, that breaks my
You're
heart.
a bigger baseball fan than a hockey fan?
Love
Yeah.
baseball.
Oh my
that's why I wanted Petey to weigh in there because he loves baseball.
I watch baseball. It's on MLB Network all summer.
Yeah.
Love
And
it.
it's so
And it's
miserable.
warm, by the way, Cheerson. It's warm.
It's
Here's some of the
whole thing
reactions
sucks.
to people on Twitter, by the way, about baseball not starting on time. Shoot me $0.
I like the Al Bundy one there for sure.
I want him to get it salt. I want to be at spring
Suffer,
training
join.
drinking a beer and eating a hot dog
Yeah.
tomorrow.
I know. I'm pissed about spring training not starting on time. I genuinely love watching baseball games. It's the best way to spend springtime in Arizona, and it's really sad that it's not only affecting me, it's affecting my coworkers, it's also affecting the businesses in Arizona.
The
like
local economy.
It's the local economy is going to take a hit, which is really sad. But if you're wondering where the updates of the talks are, there's nothing on the books. They have nothing scheduled. It's been 14 days. No, there's nothing on the books.
Here's the thing though that's crazy about this. Like you said about Rob Manfred being the worst. They don't need a new CBA in place in order for Rob Manfred just to call the lockout over and get the season started.
They can play tomorrow.
They could also get a federal judge to get involved and make them play like they did during the strike, because the strike ended back in '95 without them having a new CBA done. So when they made the decision to do it, they had to continue under the current CBA until a new one could be done. They could have done this the whole time.
Yeah.
There was no reason to lock the players out other than you wanted to apply pressure on them so that they would concede on these issues that they want you to take into consideration. And that's all we've seen up to this point. Mostly has been the players saying, okay, not 125, but how about 100 million? Okay, maybe not the top 30. If they're not in the top 30, how about they're in the top 20? And we're talking about the 7% of players and stuff. Like the players are trying.
Yeah.
But then the
it's
owners.
very much on the league, and I hate the league right now.
Right. It's the same reason why they didn't want a mediator, because a mediator isn't going to look at it fairly. They're just going to want the sides to like meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And when the owners are starting at 0 and the players are starting at 125 million or 100 million, right? Meeting in the middle is a bigger concession on the players' part.
Well, baseball's frustrating. It's really pissing me off. And one thing we all can agree on is Rob Manfred is a fucking moron.
Yeah.
The worst commissioner in the history of
Just
sports.
not interested in the game. And honestly, like we've alluded to, there's a real issue with popularity, both with wanting to play it and wanting to watch it.
Yeah, well, hopefully they can figure this out. Thank you guys for all of you who have sat here for this very long episode. We appreciate you so much. We have to let Jacob go eat, otherwise he's going to murder us. On the Macometer drama, I give this a 10. I'm so frustrated that baseball's not here, but hopefully we can figure it out. If you are still here, we love you, and it's because you're family. If you're not a part of our family, make sure to go over to gophnx.com, become a member. You can get your first month for only 50 cents, or if you become an annual subscriber, you get a free t-shirt. Thank you again so much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.